Well, good evening, good people. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. It is Friday night. We're about an hour away from our live stream, and we are 3 minutes away from 96 days. That's right, 96 days from kickoff against the Philadelphia Eagles. 96 days and 23 hours and 59 minutes, 59 seconds, but still, it's getting closer. It's amazing because it seems like it was just yesterday that it was 100 days away. Time is going by really, really quick, and it seems like maybe if I do this every day, that it'll go by even quicker. So one of the notes here about OTAs, one, I'm happy that we haven't had a situation like Zach Martin's rookie year. Zach Martin's rookie year in OTAs, first practice, first play, he came around the end pulling and ran into Sean Lee, who tore up his knee in 2013 and was done for the year. We haven't had any situations like that, knock on wood, and I hope I don't jinx ourselves. One thing that has been actually really good is when we look at the new personnel, some of the personnel, there seemed to be a little bit of adversity with the player and the team. One of those, of course, being George Pickens, and we all know how that's going on really well. But we had also heard about Joe Milton. Joe Milton, who was basically, they got rid of him because they were concerned that he was too competitive and might end up trying to be the starter. And they didn't want to have that in the mix. I don't understand why you don't want to have somebody who's challenging to try and be the guy. But be that as it may, they decided the best thing to do is to move on with him. I don't know that he was the worst quarterback in their room, because apparently he's turning heads with the Dallas Cowboys right now. Right now, it seems like he is really and truly working his way up the roster. Now, Will Grier is a journeyman quarterback. He's been around. He's had a few starts under his belt and things. He's been here before, so he's familiar with the Cowboys and the situation. And he basically was the de facto number 2 quarterback. Well, seems like what's going on right now, unless the Cowboys are just looking at this and saying, we want him to get more reps, they're playing him a lot. Now, I guess we could look at this from a different standpoint, but the way it looks like, Will Grier's not getting a lot of reps. Now, that may or may not mean a lot. Dak Prescott, his rookie year, basically got 1 rep of practice, and he ended up becoming our starter. So I'll say that much. But the lion's share of the work is actually going to Joe Milton, and the thought is he will be going through and being probably the backup quarterback. Now, we went through the same situation with Trey Lance. Trey Lance got the lion's share of the preseason and the work and everything else, and he just stunk. He just stunk. That even with all the work and stuff that he got, he still wasn't good enough to supplant Cooper Rush. So we'll see how all that works out. We'll see if anything happens with it. We'll see if it changes. Right now, it looks like Joe Milton is going to be the Dallas Cowboys backup. Now, we had the whole controversy yesterday, which was Brian Schottenheimer saying that we're all in the project stage. And a lot of people took that as Dak Prescott is a project quarterback. Well, here's the thing that happens, and I don't care who it is. When you get a new coach is going to have different terminology, different offense, different ways that he wants to run things. And so any quarterback that's going into a new system, and I will say that goes for Jalen Hurts, that things are going to change up now that Kellen Moore's not there. We don't know if they're going to keep the same terminology. The Cowboys are keeping the same terminology. Caden Adams is the one learning the Cowboys terminology as opposed to him changing and making them, which I think is a better transition because you got one guy having to learn the stuff as opposed to everybody having to learn it. We'll see how all that works out. But everybody is in a project stage because what you're trying to do is make people better than they were before. People just don't automatically just get better without working on it, training on it, or learning something new, putting a new wrinkle, or adding pieces to the pie. But when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott, you know how it is. Everybody has got to go through and give you their 2 cents to tell you Dak sucks. Dak sucks. That's just how it goes. Anyway, we are now 96 days, 23 hours, 58 minutes exactly away from kickoff against the Philadelphia Eagles. One other note here before I get out of here. I'm going to say something that's crazy. When I look at Overshown and I'm seeing his workouts, seeing him a couple months ago, two-stepping, seeing him working out on the bands and things. I mean, typically when we have guys working out on the bands, for example, they're coming off of the injuries and they're rehabbing on the field to get ready to play. Now, he's saying by Thanksgiving. Now, right now, we're talking about June, July, August, September, October, and most of November. I mean, typically, that would be the recovery time. Seeing him move the way he is moving right now, I don't think it's going to be 6 months for him to get back out on the field. I remember seeing, not that this is a great example, but I remember going to, in 2014, I think it was, or 2015, going to Redskins camp where they had RG3 and they were talking about all in. And looking right now at Overshown versus where RG3 was in training camp, I have to say I don't see a hitch in the step of Overshown like I did RG3. And RG3, of course, started the season, although he was not ready. I will say, seeing in training camp, let me give another one. I will say Chase Young, seeing Chase Young in training camp walking with a hitch looked like he was in worse shape than Overshown is right now. Chase Young was not on the field doing any drills. He ended up playing about midway through the season. I think Overshown is way ahead of schedule on that knee. 6 months. 6 months, you can train for a marathon, people. 6 months? Now, maybe it's 3 months, which is June, July, August. Even if it's 4 months. 4 months is a long time to be rehabbing a knee. I get it. It was an MCL, ACL, and a PCL. I get it. I'm just pointing out how he looks, because when he's on the field, he's not wearing any brace working out. There's no brace. The only thing he has is a wrap. So don't be surprised if it's way, way before Thanksgiving. All right, good people. I'll see you guys in a little bit. I appreciate you guys as always. Peace out.